Hi. How's it going, Michael? Ah, got a lot of show and tell. I wonder, I guess this is, oh wait, there they are. If you're here, if you're connected, say hello, please, so I'll know who's here. Michael, how's the sound and everything? Everything working okay? Mm. Hello, Rahuk, Kevin, and 912. I wish they had the names that we could recognize. Oh, good. Glad everything's working. Um, Let me bring up our agenda that we have. Um, Hi, Brian. There we go. Hi, Brandon. Oh, great. This is our movement. Um, what I think I better do is take some close-ups of this. There's what we're dealing with. Apparently, we're getting they have 22 movements available. Now they only have 21 because we have one. And so I don't think there's going to be any kind of enhancement or anything else. That wasn't part of the deal. It was sort of like we have 22 available that we can sort of scrounge up for you guys. Uh, it doesn't sound like they're going back to the production and making them. Otherwise, we could have had more. The Crenode one is a little different. That's if any of you are in the Crenode group, also we'll talk about that when we meet. But this, I want to concentrate on where we are right now. Of course, I want to answer any further questions that you guys have too. Um, Okie doke. So first of all, the movement. Let me take this out of here. Hang on a second. I don't want to gum it up. One sec. Ah. Whoa. Getting out my gloves because I don't want to, like I said. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll be sending this to our designer, developer, watchmaker tomorrow. So when he's doing the sort of the measurements and so forth, he can check it. We, for those of you, we had in the now notorious Etude number 2, everything that could have gone wrong did, and so this is one thing we don't want to go wrong. Okay, this is our movement, and let me see if I can open it up here. Hang on a second. Um, it's a secret, Michael. We're gonna I'll be talking about him in a bit. In fact, if you take a look at the page, you can see that we paid and who it is. Okay, you guys got to be observant in this. Okay, here's our movement. Let me see if you can see it better here. I took it out of the box. Here is the dial side, which has the sort of interesting see if I can, oops, do this. Here we are. It's been running. I wound it up all the way, and it's just been running perfectly. I also did some stuff on it. So, the let me see if I can get this right. Right up here, sort of like, let me see. Here, it's hard to do. Right around here at 2 o'clock is where the power reserve indicator is, and then down at the bottom, the small seconds, and then, of course, in the middle is the other, but, boy, I tell you, they sent us a really nice case for this, so I feel pretty good about, sending it on to our guy in Ohio. Let's see. Whoops. Hmm. Well, I'll take care of it later. But it's been running and running very well. So I think, happy with it. The uh, uh, time grapher stuff is also there. Okay, the time grapher turned out it's sort of I didn't do it that much. I did it some to check out some stuff. That's a good question. They it, I don't know, to tell you the truth, whether what kind of regulation they did, if any, on this. So, hmm, better put this down here so before I break it. Um, so I just don't know. Ah, Andy's here. How you doing, Andy? Andy has been done some artwork for us, and we'll talk about that in a second. Um, okay, so there we are on the movement. Um, I'm not sure what you mean, Andy. Add it to the event. It was on our site. The site we have is the MSE211 site. It's not the main one. So um, let me clarify that. Hang on a second. Um, okay. No, 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 no. I just want to be sure that everybody understands because if this is the first time you're doing this, you need to know. Okay, that's the site we're using for it's a quote unquote an exclusive site just for those of us who are getting the Schwarz ETN 211 watch. Okay. Um, hmm. Oh, okay. All right. Um, Okay, we'll I think once you get used to it, it's pretty easy to find. Okay, next thing, design. Let me say something about this before we go any further. Um, the the I'm really familiar, although a lot of us are, with the Swiss designers. I could find well, we've been working with Matu, but there's some other really top designers that uh, are becoming available to us with Lyrique. On the other hand, we've got no idea of who the American ones are. We don't know how good they are. They don't know a lot of things. Now, there's one thing that people who claim, yeah, they're great designers and so on and so forth, but they really don't understand the intricacies of what's needed to get a watch where it needs to be in terms of the design, so everything is fitting. We've run into this problem before, uh, and it's been a very expensive lesson, but we did learn it. And so what I wanted to do, I wanted to spend some time with this new outfit that we're working with, and to get a sense, like, if this is not right, I'm gonna try someone else. Working with, the guy that we have, his name is Chris, I'll say that, he's up in Ohio. He really is great person to work with. Sometimes designers, not including Andy, can be artists, can be very sensitive, okay? Well, there's a difference between being sort of self-centered, sensitive, and wanting to work with the client. We're the client, and so just about everything that I asked Chris to do, he did. And yeah, Andy, I'm not talking about you, Andy. Okay. There's something else too. Designers tend to think all discussions are about them. This one isn't. Uh, so yeah. Well, I think your self-worth is important in the sense that you wanna do a great job. Okay. I have this feeling, and I think I've got another sense of this, and in the best possible way, that the American designers and developers, are the few that there are, um, really wanna do a good job, and they're not used to working with the kind of level that at least Larique has. And so, that was another thing in talking with him, and it's realizing very quickly that, not only are we sort of at another level, but he was very interested in doing everything he could, to realize, what we need. And so that was how come I wanted to spend some time ahead of time, and we had talked about some different design things. And so it's started coming together. Andy had some things that he showed that are, and I had mentioned it to him, by the way. I said, "Well, we got this guy. He's, he's out on parole. He's perfectly safe, and he's an artist that you might want to work with, that had some ideas about numbers." And so I'll be talking to Andy about that. But some of the things that Andy has done has been really great. So that's a that's a good thing. Um, Let me show you. But on the other hand, Chris he's our designer, and he's the guy that we have to work with him to get it done so that it's done right. And by right, I mean everything's going to fit and everything else. We're also, as some of you know, most of you know, that we're also doing another watch with Crenode. He offered to have some similar stuff, and I said, no, we'd rather start from scratch because we don't want to we're going to do two unique ones. And I think the Crenode group is going to have a little more input from the outset. So, uh, just because we have some idea of it. Okay, so let me see if I got something here I can show you guys. Okay, this is the hang on a sec, let me bring this up here. Make it these are the technical kinds of things. The kind of thing, this is something that Chris did for us. We were working on it. We had talked about a lot of this. I mean, when I say we, I mean the people who are interested in this project. The colors are simply to separate the different areas. They're not the colors it's going to be. Um, so where we are right now, to a great extent, the idea that we wanted to have a what we call a brigade-ish um, dial is what this is, and the numbers and so forth. Forgot the name of the font. There isn't such a thing as a brigade font, but I thought these, were look like the kind of thing we had been thinking about. But notice all of these little details and things like that that uh, have to be determined, and he knows what he's doing. Chris does. So this was an important thing about it. By the way, too, our daughter is a is a package designer. She designs packages in New York, and it's a pretty tough market, but she does well there. And all of the craft foods, or a lot of the craft foods, are in packages that she designed. So uh, I'm I'm familiar with it, a little about design, but more like someone who enjoys a good meal but can't cook. Okay, so that's one of the things that we had that I wanted to show you. Okay, hang on a second. This is sort of working toward where we want to go on this. This is sort of the brigade one, and I'll explain it. Okay. There's some other things that I want to mention too that have that's already been done, and we've been talking about. Um, Hang on a second. Okay. Now, one of the first things I want to say, this got flattened out. I asked them to use a what's it called? Different onion crown, sort of a flattened onion crown. Um, is this an original idea? Absolutely not. It was somewhat of what my FP Journe was like. Um, so anyway, this is where we are now. Now, notice those numbers are a lot smaller than the ones we just looked at, and that's because we had been talking about. I already said I thought the numbers were a little too small in this one, and so went on from there. Now the strap. This is a deal that I already made with Hadley. Hadley, yeah, Hadley straps. I have one of their straps, and I think I showed you before. This is what they sent me. This is what for our strap. Now, let me see. Oh, hang on a second. Okay. Well, anyway, that's where we are right now. But this is not the final deal on it. I think I may have showed you this before. This is the this is a croc strap, And, so, I showed him this. This is what it looks like on a watch, and, I've had it, and it's been great. It also has a quick release, on it, which is something else I thought, well, if somebody doesn't like the strap, they can take it off and put one on, but I got a real good deal on it, and I think it's important for us to have a good strap rather than trying to go cheap on that, but we wanted to have one that we could afford too, so that's where we are on that. Okay, hang on a second, let me get put this stuff away. Okay. Um, Okey doke. Yeah, it's gonna be on both of them, Andy. What's the proposed material? I I don't know, whatever they make dials out of. I guess it's, I don't know. I'll have to find out. We're not we had started this is, what we started with the, LaRique E2 number 1 that went very well. We went with a company called Metal M, and they had done the one for, Dufour and had used a white lacquer, and that was the starting point, so something with a white lacquer, but I don't know, I guess it's just some kind of tin. I just don't know, what they are, Rahuk. Hi, Rara. Um A folded edge. I don't know, it's not a folded edge. It's this. This is the back of it, okay, and this is the, top of it. Like I said, it's been wearing very well too. That was why I liked it. And also too, it's something we don't have to screw around with, in this country anyway, in the United States about transfers. It could be a problem in other countries, and if it is, we have other what we can do, we can send the strap separately, and so if your custom stops the strap, you get the watch anyway. This is a big problem that we've had with LaRique. You name it, we've had it with LaRique. Oh, yeah, Andy. Well, what we wanna do, yeah, I wanna share everything. And we w the the thing we're trying to now we can't there's too much kibitzing on this. We don't wanna do that at all. But we wanna have we wanna look at it. We had talked about it earlier on. This is where the brigade ish came from. So, it's sort of going along those lines, and I think that's where we are right now. But, they're working with Chris has been very he's a very, very good guy to work with. Yeah, I showed the emblem to, Chris that, Andy had done, and he did like it a lot too. He said, "That's a lot better than the, I now this is he said it would go better with it than the little dragon. I like the little dragon. We're gonna keep that. Hear me, Chris? I mean, Andy, we're gonna keep the little dragon too. We can put that on business cards or something. But for the dial, uh, I think, and also we could use this, I suppose, on the case for the Crenode group. This is the one that Andy did, and it's really interesting. And it's, gives it a, I like it. Again, this is, Hi, Brandon. Yeah, observatory hands, right. Okay. Andy, you may not be attached to the dragon you made, but I am, okay? Like the dragon, the little guy. Yeah, we can do something like that. Yeah, Michael, that's what I was thinking too. We can have it somehow stylized and maybe even put it on the crown, so at the top of the crown. We can do something with it. Oh, good. Thanks, Andy. So anyway, yeah, now tomorrow, by the way, too, I'm sending off um I'll put this back in this special case they have for it. My God, the case looks like it was made for the movement. I mean, it just fits perfectly. And then it has this incredible this box they sent it in to me was really great. It's got these little this is suspended on the top and bottom. It's just very safe. So I'll be sending, like I said, I'll be sending this to if we're not snowed in again or something, I'll be sending this off to Chris tomorrow. Yeah, I'm with you, Brian, on that. Is the case off the shelf? No, I don't think so. I mean, because, and I'll tell you why. I don't think it's off the shelf. Um, oh, Michael, it's gone. The first one looked like it was off the shelf. It was sort of like, ah. And so I said, no, this is, it's sort of going from, I think, I would imagine a shop is used to getting these guys, they want something more of a sports style. And but no, so this is a long way from that. Off, it's not off the shelf. That's why, when he, it's going to fit the movement. Let me see if I've got. Um, I'm going to see if I have something. Let me look. Uh, Hold on a second. These are the specs. Excuse me. From ETN, and this is the one of the things I sent this to Chris. Actually, he requested it because he said, "Well, if we're going to work with this, we're going to need to do these different things." I don't know if I can move this around or not. There we go. You can see there's the center where, and then you have. Ah, boy, this is either the small seconds, it could be the pinion for. Now it looks like small seconds somewhere the uh, power reserve indicator. Uh, so yeah, this was something that, like I said, I wanted. I wanted to see if this is the kind of stuff. He told me right away. He said this is what I need to do this right. So it's important for that. Okay. Andy, I tell you what, for all of these, kinds of details, including what the material is, send me an email, say, "Do these," okay? Are we using teardrop lugs? Um, something, Brandon, on this one, we're not using teardrop lugs, but we are on the Crenode one. If you wanna use teardrop drop lugs, if you think that's something to do, we could do that, if you guys want to. That would be fine with me. The lugs we put on the initial, Etude number 1 and 2, they were teardrop lugs, and they worked out really well. See if here it is. Let me see if I can show you what you guys think of these. Okay. Those are the teardrop lugs that we have. Excuse me. They fit very comfortably. Also, too, this is what the flatter type of, crown. I like the onion crowns flattened. They look really cool. Uh, and that's where to me, I think that we don't have to though. This is not what was planned, but I think it would be, if you guys want it, that's fine with me. Yeah, I had it. You know, raw Hulk. No, I was thinking of polished, all polished. Uh, I was asked that, by the way. I don't know of a reason why we would want both, but if there is a good reason, we can consider it. It's the kind of thing I'm just not sure. You wanna see a watch with I love this Boucheron, but I guess the crown would not fit for good ergonomics. What you have, Boucheron, of course, is a famous Paris jeweler, and you got a bunch of jewelry guys, and they're more concerned with how the whole thing looks, rather than all of the practical kind of stuff. I don't the ones for excuse me, uh, pilot watches, those great big ones. Well, those were, back when they opened cockpit and they had these big gloves on, so they needed this giant crown. They don't need that anymore. I think for the last 100 years or so, they've had closed cockpits. Yeah, no, we want a crown, but we don't want a big thud of a crown. Big picture question. What do you expect the timeline will be for making all these design decisions? Uh, I'd like to see us totally finished with them by the end of March. Today's March 1st, so I'd really like to see that done. And, the other part of it, couple things. I think we talked about this some with, the Cano group yesterday, and this is about entering it into the Grand Prix d'Orlo DJ Genève. I talked, Fernando and I went over what will be our budget, and I think, um, we'll be able to afford the entry fee. The entry fee for the GPHG for one watch is 800 Swiss francs, which is right around $1,000. What you get for that 1,000 is you get like worldwide advertisement about it, just sort of for showing off. If we won, if we even got to the what's called nominations with the Grand Prix, they want 7,000 Swiss francs for putting it on a world tour and doing all of this other stuff with it. We had that, then we'd have to vote whether we want to pony up another 7,000 Swiss francs, which would probably cost us, I don't know, a few $100 a piece. But that's something that's a bridge we can cross. But we can afford it now just for the entry. I don't know how you guys feel about that. If you don't want to, we don't have to. Um, Rahuk, I don't, what we're, excuse me, what we're doing is a very straightforward case. Um, well, again, this is on the notorious one. Uh, we ended up making one little change and it cost us 50,000 Swiss francs. I don't want to do that. I mean, I'm not saying that that might not be a cool thing to have, but having it may sort of throw a wrench in everything else. And we've got to be careful about that. I can check on it and I'm not quite sure what you have in mind as far as design's concerned, but let's see. Yeah, I listen, Andy. Yeah, on the strap thing, some of this stuff, um, I didn't even want to start this thing, this whole project. I got pretty busy, but I thought, well, it might be a sort of a cool thing. We could have something in the U.S. and something we could do, but still have a really top notch uh, watch out of it, and using a really top notch Swiss movement. And the we're using, in fact, this time on the watch that we're finishing up with Larique, we're is we're doing with Jean Rousseau. Okay, Jean Rousseau has offices both in New York and also in Paris, and so we were able to do a lot of things that work out better with that, except they're very expensive. If we wanted to have a gator strap or something like that, they're around $300 a pop, and that was a bit much. So the ones at Headley were not cheap, okay, but they weren't. And then they offered me what is a really good deal on it, and so okay, well, we'll go along and do that with them. And some of these decisions, otherwise we could. There are all kinds of decisions that we could make talking about it for a long time. On the other hand, to get going and on the track that I hope we end up on with our brigade-ish watch, I think a nice strap is important without breaking the bank. Those were the considerations. Yeah, I agree, Brian. I was thinking of the same thing. Yeah, we don't want to put too many. We just want to have a nice case, and but in terms of affordability, okay, because we have gone down the rabbit hole on overpriced cases of I don't want to do that again. I want to have something that we can afford, but also is really nice. And I think that the movement is sort of the quality of the movement. So I've been getting these letters from people, emails saying, "Oh boy, that's you guys are using the same." Um, Crenode is also used. In fact, the same we're talking about Crenode, not Source ETN, but the idea that what we're doing with Feu de Sablé is like, yeah, okay, something trying to do something affordable, but keeping your eye on what's the most important thing to make it affordable. And I think we're doing that, but you can't have said, "Oh, well, we want this and we want this." Even though they're good ideas, we've got to limit what we're doing and to keep it within this affordability. Believe me, that becomes important. And one of the things that is going to help, oddly enough, is just about everything but the movement is based on the US dollar. And so we're not having to double transfer from one to the other and a lot of other things that we have to do with LaRique. In fact, what we're doing in LaRique is we're trying to set up a Swiss entity so we can have a Swiss bank account. Then we'll just, when something comes along, it'll go into the Swiss bank. That was how come Sandlight was available, by the way. Oh, nothing's gonna push LaRique out of the running. No, 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 no. This is something. There's sort of a gap that I'm working with LaRique. The one we're finishing up now, the Aero Zulu, and I skipped the next one, which is Air Soutant. It's a jumping hour. I've got two great jumping hour watches, so I figured, well, I didn't need that. And the one that's coming after that, I've been working on that one for since 2024. But that one is sort of one that is like super special. And by the time we're finished with this one and the Crenode one, I'll be freed up again. It just, just something that I thought we could try this and do it at a much more affordable way. But no, not LaRique. I mean, you've got you have really good quality watches. Excuse me, boy. The frying up some jalapenos in there. Anyway, the nothing. Believe me, LaRique is on its way to the moon. Actually, LaRique is on the way to Mars. We're on our way to the moon with in a way that I think is more fun. Okay, let me go back to the to my agenda. Okay. All right. The process, we started with a watchmaker. I got some things done. The design, the measurements, I showed you some of those things. And then we're going to, like I said, we're going to make sure, double sure everything is going to work with our movement. By the way, I think it's a beautiful movement, by the way. And I'll take some pictures before I send it, some close-ups, so you guys can get some idea of the finishing and so forth. Okie doke. All right. Well, listen. Use our Facebook site for comments and ideas and so forth, but be careful. There were some I took down, not because they were bad or nasty. They just weren't too relevant. A lot of time people got excited. Well, let's do this and let's do that. Also, too, we're trying to. I guess the general Montreux's Feu de Sable site is sort of like for anybody who wants to come in and take a look at it and say, hey, this is going on. You can put anything you want there, as long as it relates to sort of developing something. And so what I think is what we want to do on our site, we want to keep it focused on what we need to do to finish the watch. And that's what's going to be important, rather than throwing off all things that can happen. When is the order being placed on the remaining 21? I've already contacted them about that, Andy. I'm waiting to hear back from them. I have just asked the people at Coleman Mine about someone who will pester them until they get what they need. I will be pestering them about it. This is something, let me say this about, Shores ETN. They're not used to they came out with all these movements that they had. They're wonderful, incredible movements. Yeah, you could buy separately, okay? But they're really not geared for that yet. That was how come they came up with, 21. In a way, we're lucky that we don't have to wait for them to go into the whole, production thing. On the other hand, Crnode, they've been geared for this for years, and a lot of different companies buy Crnode. So they're, I think, a little more used to it. What we're getting, I think we're still part of sort of an experimental with the movement as far as, Schwarz ETN is concerned, but they do make nice movements. So, like I said, I've already done this. This is not a project that is gonna be, idling, all right? This we're going full focus to get it done. And, the only thing, we're waiting for is for them to, send the order. We already collected everything we need for they wanted 50%. We did that. We have that set up. We also paid, for Chris for the first part of that, and, then for the rest of it, I think we're in a good position to go forward with it. Um, I don't think there's gonna be a problem entering the, 2026, Grand Prix, with this watch. So, that'll be another thing that'll be a fun thing to do. We're Larique is also entering a watch that is just I love the Arizulu, and we'll be doing that, promoting that. We may end up with, Carnot also in the same running, but with perhaps a different category, sort of competing against each other. Oh, Dartmouth Alpha, good question. It's There's they're not the same, for a several well, the most basic reason is that the power reserve indicator is up around between 1 and 2 o'clock on ours, on the, Suarez ETN, and it's right down below, the 12 o'clock on the Carnot. The look for the Carnot I had a Urban Jurgensen, uh UJ1, all right? This is the new one that came out since, Kari Voutilainen bought it. That one has sort of a look that I like. You can take a look at that watch, Kevin, and that'll give you an idea. And the one reason for it, not only do I like the looks of it, but it had the, power reserve indicator exactly in the same place. Everything was the same that we have in our movement, except theirs is $400,000. Theirs is overpriced, and ours has a friendlier price to it. Anyway, guys, I gotta scoot. So, but like I said, anything else that comes up, use our sort of our private site, and any other thing that you want to bring up, just either that, you can always email me and say, "What about this?" or "What about that?" Okay. Thank you guys, for coming, and like I said, I'll be listening to hear from you. All right? Take care.